Hi, I'm Astrologer Penny Dix, and welcome to my in-depth look at the annular solar eclipse in Libra on the 2nd of October, and that is at 10 degrees and 3 minutes. So, what is an annular solar eclipse? Well, an eclipse is when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun. But when it's an annular eclipse, it means that the moon is too far away from Earth in its elliptical orbit to completely cover the Sun. So as a result, the moon appears much smaller than the Sun, and we get a bright ring of sunlight, which can often be called a ring of fire. Sounds quite good. What is the symbolism of it all? And, these kind of eclipses can last for quite a long time. And so we don't get the total darkness that we get with a total solar eclipse. We get partial darkness. So, but what is the symbolism of this? Because I think the symbolism is really quite interesting if I just get down to my notes, because this new moon annular solar eclipse, got it right, is all new moons are about new beginnings, and this one is no different. It's about setting intentions, fresh starts. It's a time for planting those seeds for the future that we wish to manifest. Now, a solar eclipse magnifies the energy of the new moon, and it can bring sudden, unexpected changes and opportunities. So it's like an eclipse can act as a kind of cosmic catalyst. So it can speed things up, and the energy of an eclipse can feel intense and transformative. And my goodness, haven't we been through a lot of lunar intense energy with that last full moon that we had in Pisces, that I think we're still all kind of recovering from. And now here we have already, we're into the new moon eclipse, annular solar eclipse in Libra. Libra, what is its influence? Because it's about relationships, balance, harmony, partnerships, business partnerships. So sometimes a new moon can signal the start of a new relationship or a new direction within a current relationship. Or if a relationship has been faltering, then it could bring opportunities in for you to look at and kind of review the whole situation and how you could find that compromise, courtesy of Libra, to find a solution for the relationship that suits both parties. This then brings the balance and harmony that Libra looks for. And with these kind of eclipses and the unexpected changes, it can bring revelations as well. So we can see sudden shifts, and maybe this will also happen on the world stage. We can but hope. I'm thinking of probably every government on the planet, and certainly the events that are unfolding in the Middle East. The day I'm recording this is the 25th of September, and I'm aware from the news that ground troops have now started being active, and all I want to do in a very Libran way is wish the inhabitants of the whole of the Middle East love, healing, harmony, and balance. And may this new moon eclipse restore the balance and harmony required for both sides to find a solution, a compromise that is agreeable, even if it's just for the time being, for both sides. But please, let's stop killing people. So it is about, Libra's about diplomacy, compromise. So we can encourage our world leaders, wherever they are, to navigate conflict in that state of grace and to seek those peaceful solutions, to find the common ground, because that's what sometimes can be so hard to achieve. And there needs to be collaboration and compromise and dialogue. There needs to be dialogue. Now, Venus rules Libra. Excuse me. And Venus, of course, is now in the sign of Scorpio. And I'm going to come to the chart in a minute, but I just want to talk about these energies before we get into the actual astrological energies of the chart. So, because Venus rules Libra, and it is, as you know, the planet of relationship, beauty, love, harmony, aesthetics, and it is making an aspect in this new moon eclipse. And so it can really bring in opportunities to be very creative, to kind of think outside of the box with regard to partnerships and relationships. So you can really deepen your connections over time with this new moon solar eclipse. And so I suppose in summary, it is a very potent time for new beginnings. In any part of your life that needs balance, harmony, fairness. I mean, sometimes I'm not a parent, not out of choice because it didn't happen. I'm not looking for sympathy. And I guess I'm a mother to all. That's what my role has become. Now, I'm sure parents and children have to battle all the time to find the compromise and Libran harmony within the home to manifest a state of equilibrium for the family, for the collective, so that the whole family can align itself with peace and fairness, and to have mutual understanding about things which can be so tricky and difficult. So I think at this point, it's probably a good time to ask Jerry to magically make our chart appear. Thank you, Jerry. Here we go with our solar eclipse, Ring of Fire. I like that. There was a song, wasn't there? Ring of Fire. I can't remember how it went, and I can't sing it because if I did sing it, YouTube will charge me copyright. So there we go. What can you do? Anyway, let's just have a look at this. And what I didn't check, and I'm just going to do that quickly now, is where this solar eclipse is going to be visible. So bear with me one moment while you have a little look at the chart while I find the timeanddate.com. There we go. And we go to eclipses, sun and moon, and we go to eclipses. Here we are. Okay, so this one is going to be visible in North America, much of South America, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and Antarctica. Sadly, not in Europe. So us Europeans are going to be left out of that. But I'm not quite sure what time it starts. Let's just click on it and it might tell us. Let's have a look. 7 days, 2 hours and 42 minutes as I record. And it is going to start at hang on, can't see. No, I can't see. No, I'm going to take too long doing this. So anyway, it is going to be visible, and that is going to be quite something. So if you are in a place where you can view it, do. Now let's have a look at our chart. So this is based on universal time. So this is based for London. So you would have to adjust it for Eastern time and going west across the States by an hour. So, and if you go onto astro.com or astroseek.com, you can get a chart quite easily for your location. One thing that I noticed when I pulled up this chart, which I thought was quite interesting, is that the part of fortune, if you look to the ascendant, which is in Taurus at 19 degrees, the part of fortune is there. Well, this Arabic part is exactly as it says. It's fortunate, it's lucky. And look at that, it's conjunct retrograde Uranus in Taurus. And it's in that part of the chart, the first house, which is about how we show ourselves or want to show ourselves to the world. I think in general what this means is that we might be feeling unexpectedly positive and upbeat, which can't be a bad thing, because maybe on individual levels, things are starting to just flow a little bit more smoothly, because this is quite good energy in this new moon. And it is Libra, which is, you know, about harmony. So I do think this is actually quite a positive time. And my God, do we need that? Because the world has gone crazy. I can only hope that by the 2nd, when the actual annular eclipse takes place, that some kind of common sense will be prevailing in the Middle East. So that's the first thing I want to say. And also that, of course, Taurus is about abundance and luxury. So it may be that we will be seeing a buoyancy in the economy, or feeling quite flush ourselves. And also we might be feeling and seeing that stock markets are doing quite well. And what's just come into my mind is that gold will suddenly be shooting up in price. Now, I suspect that will be because of the problems in the Middle East. So what happens when we get these difficulties in certain parts of the world is that precious metals suddenly gain in value, because people want hard money. They want to have something that they've got in their hand, a gold bar. So, you know, hold on to your gold jewelry, ladies, and keep it safely locked up in a safe, because we just never know when we might need it. I'm not suggesting there's going to be any reason to do that, but I just think that we might see the price of gold soaring. So anyone who is in investments and buying and selling and everything, that's my tip. It's just an intuitive tip. What can I say? Let's actually look at the new moon energy over there in Libra in the 6th house. Now, the new moon is at 10 degrees. It's conjunct the south node. So there's something about this new moon that is bringing up things from the past to be resolved. So it could bring past relationships, or a relationship where you've become a little bit estranged could be repaired, or at least the opportunity could be there to repair it, should you wish to. And so you might find, because Mercury is conjunct this new moon, that you do hear from people that you've become a little bit remote from or estranged from. And Mercury, of course, in Libra is about harmonious communication. And this, of course, is what we need in the Middle East and in every other part of the world. With every government, we need harmonious compromising, and compromising in the sense of reaching good compromise and agreement for the problems of whichever particular country that we are talking about, that particular government. So it's a positive new moon and positive new moon energy. So it's conjunct the South Node, bringing in, as I say, this something karmic from the past. It could be a karmic relationship. And it could be that there's been a sort of situation where somehow you never quite get it together, so to speak. And this new moon gets you, oh, okay, hello. And so that there is some interaction that takes place. We've also, of course, got dark moon Lilith here. And this, of course, brings in a little bit of a kind of racy edge to this new moon. And Libra is much more about aesthetic love, although Libra's very determined. Remember, Libra is a cardinal sign. Librans very quietly get what they want. They get their needs met. Now, it's also an air sign. So Mercury is quite comfortable here because, of course, Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, but it's used to Gemini and the air energy, which, of course, brings in thought, thinking, and in Libra, compromise, and less overthinking, less ruminating. Then we see next to Mercury, conjunct, all of this is conjunct, this stellium, Juno, the asteroid Juno. Now, Juno is about marriage, relationship, harmony, and it really is about love and connection and connecting. So you really may find through the energy of this new moon that you can really experience being loved. And it doesn't have to be in a, significant lovey-dovey relationship, although that can certainly be around if it's available in your life, even if it's with a partner you've had for many, many years. One can keep falling in love with the same person because situations change, things change, people change, we grow. And Juno can be about commitment in relationship. What I find interesting is that it's also conjunct the vertex, which is a trigger point. That's the VX just above where Juno is, which looks a little bit like a dahlia, a flower with lots of spikes coming out of it. And that's a trigger point. So it underlines and emphasizes that this is a new moon eclipse that is really positive for commitment in relationships. If it's something you're seeking, you can attain it, not necessarily on the day, remember. These eclipses set the seed, they set the tone for what is going to unfold over the next few months. And we can't leave out Venus, that is in Scorpio now. Venus in Scorpio, although she's not that comfortable, she's a little bit like Persephone when Persephone went down to the underworld and got, seduced and taken down there by Pluto, Hades. And Venus is thinking, well, actually, he's quite nice, I quite fancy him, and I must say, when we were intimate, it was really quite good fun. And so Venus is bringing in this element of sexuality. And sometimes I think all of us, whatever gender you are, and I can't list them all, but I'm trying to be woke. But sexuality is something that sometimes gets overlooked and gets lost. And I think that there's something about this new moon that, even though Libra is aesthetic and the kind of more, aesthetic, kind of clean sense of relating, the kind of romantic love, Venus's presence in Scorpio is suggesting on the descendant of this chart, don't forget you are a sexual being. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves of that. Experience it, feel it, enjoy our, as a woman, womanhood. Dress so that we feel good about ourselves. You know, Libra likes to look good. Venus rules Libra. So Venus in Libra does want to look beautiful and well turned out. Venus in Scorpio, well, she's back down to the underworld. So what about the aspects? Because we've actually got something that is known as a grand water trine. Now it's a little bit difficult to see it in the chart, but if you know your planets and glyphs, what you need to look for is Mars in that third house in Cancer. Mars is trining, so there's a thin blue line that goes up to Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 14 degrees. And then in turn, Saturn is coming down and trining Venus at 11 degrees of Scorpio. And then Venus is trining Mars at 15 degrees. So you have this grand water trine. This is emotion. This is passion. You've got the masculine and the feminine. You've got Mars and Venus. You've got, as Jung would call it, the conjunctio, the sacred wedding, the marriage of heaven and earth. And there's something about the power of these energies that supports what I've been already talking about within the sign of Libra. Then we need to also look at the square that Mars in Cancer is making to the new moon and to Mercury and to Juno. This square is saying, when I was talking about relationships getting a boost and like a door opening and it being much easier to relate and have good, healthy relationship discussions, Mars is underlining, but everything comes at a price. So Mars's square to the new moon, Mercury and Juno is saying there may have to actually be some tough talk on one level about how this is reached, because it is about finding compromise. Remember, Mars is in Cancer. Cancer is about the home. This could relate to living accommodation and space, where you live, where you both live. Maybe you live separately. Maybe that suits you both. So there's a lot of energy actually in this new moon. And then if we just look at Saturn retrograde in Pisces in the 11th house, making the point of this trine, this grand water trine. Saturn in Pisces, as I always say, is bringing structure into that which is not yet ready to be formed. Don't push hard. Let things unfold in their own time. Take a step back, take a stance in the present. And whatever situations you find yourself in, whether this is with siblings, partners, parents, children, friends, business colleagues, bosses, take a step back, stay in the present. Get tuned into that higher frequency that says we can reach a state of compromise if we take this slow and steady wins the race. Jerry's lovely phrase from, of course, one of Aesop's fables. So slow and steady wins the race. That is what we need to remember. To stay in the present moment. To enjoy the sense of harmony. There's something about this new moon which takes us up to the top of a mountain peak. Think of Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn has taken us at the 29th degree to the very peak of that Capricorn mountain. Up there in the 10th house, our soul path. Survey the scene. Survey your future. Have vision, visualize how things could unfold, but allow the flexibility of the divine to choose which way is the best way for the highest good of yourself and the highest good of everyone else. I think at this point it's a good time for Jerry to take the chart away. There we go. And to bring this look at the new moon annular eclipse in Libra to a close. So I will talk about this a lot more on Sunday in my live stream for the week ahead. And then, of course, on the 1st of October, I will be doing my live stream overview for the month ahead. And I just want to say quickly, I'm trying to sort out the problems with sound on the lives. And Jerry's given me a few clues and tips of what to do. So basically shut everything else off, close all tabs that are open, close everything. You know, it's almost like just switch everything off, switch my phone off, switch routers that aren't being used, switch them off, stick to the main one, and let's see if this time with the lives, I can get it without crackle, crackle, crackle. So we'll do our best. So thanks so much for joining me. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I really look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.